on Good Morning Sri Lanka, bright and early on a Wednesday morning, and we have some very interesting topics coming up during the course of our program this morning for you. Now, education is something that's important for everyone here in Sri Lanka, especially when it comes to parents as well as students. They're always looking for the best quality of education for their children, and there has always been a gap between the number of providers of education and the people who demand it, and the demand is always increasing but the supply maybe not so much. But on the show this morning we are going to speak to an establishment that's going to cater to this demand in Sri Lanka, and they've partnered with a company here in Sri Lanka who are synonymous with giving the best in terms of healthcare as well as industry, and they're an established name in Sri Lanka right now, and that's Navaloka Holdings. And they have partnered with Swinburne College in Australia, and they are bringing to you the Navaloka College of Higher Studies. And to speak about this great new venture, I have with me on the show this morning Peter Chrysolitis. He is the CEO of Swinburne College Australia. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
It's great to have you on the show.
Very pleased to be here. It's always lovely to be up bright and early in the morning.
All right, we have a morning person on the show, and we also have with us Victor Rajivan. He is the CEO as well as the Executive Director of the Navaloka College of Higher Studies. Good morning to you too, Victor.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
So it's great to have, I'm fine, thank you very much, and I hope you're doing well as well.
Yeah, good.
And we have this gentleman on the show with us. Now you're here to speak about this great new venture. Now I heard that you officially entered the partnership just 2 days ago, wasn't it, Victor?
Yeah, yes, actually, this was a very long journey. So we did nearly around 2.5 years, and we have actually just launched Swinburne College in Sri Lanka on 2 days back. So we are very happy, and we are hoping this is going to be another success story of the Navaloka Holdings.
Definitely. Now, as you mentioned, there have been many success stories. So let's speak about why Navaloka Holdings decided to enter into such a partnership, and what the idea and the thought process behind it was.
These are interesting questions, everybody was asking. Navaloka Holdings actually they are in the very different type of businesses. So they're in constructions, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and furniture, etc., etc. And I think on the diversification, they see that the education is also one of the major part of it, and with the government initiation of the 2020 plan of South Asia as to be as a hub in Sri Lanka. So the Navaloka actually want to go into that as well, and with the options is available, and where they want to be different in the market, and Navaloka is decided to actually go into the education sector.
All right, so this is the first foray into the education sector, and you've partnered with Swinburne College. So what's the reason for choosing Swinburne? Now I know some impressive statistics, but you at home may not know it, so let's hear it from Vinod himself.
I would actually tell why we selected Swinburne is Swinburne is actually a very modern university and young university, but even ranked well actually they are top 400 in the world on the Times Higher Education ranking on 2013, and so we would like to bring Melbourne University to Sri Lanka, because Sri Lankans are quite popular the Melbourne as a destination. So we work with few universities, but we actually pick Swinburne. I think they will fit in very well with the Navaloka's vision, as the university also have great visions. So probably I will leave it with Peter actually he may tell more about Swinburne College and the university.
Of course. So Peter, what was your first reaction when you first came across this particular proposal?
Very excited for lots of different reasons. One of them is, as was mentioned by Victor, the number of Sri Lankan students who go to Melbourne is quite high, and we have a lot of Sri Lankan students within the university, including a special Sri Lankan student association. So to be able to bring our programs to Sri Lanka, where a lot of students come from, is very good. To go with an organisation like Navaloka is fantastic, because as a university we're high quality, we guard our reputation, and whoever we partner with must have the same values that we do in regarding that, and clearly Navaloka themselves must do everything right. The things they're in medical and construction has to be done correctly, and education may be new for them, but a lot of the operational values that underpin that are transferable to the education sector.
Of course, because it is as you mentioned earlier, something new that the company is moving into. But when we speak about why this type of initiative is necessary in Sri Lanka, and why it's important for students to look at maybe universities not just within Sri Lanka that are established in Sri Lanka by the government, let's say, but look at other universities as well. What are the advantages that students can get?
I think there are few advantages, the students' advantages are they are going to be closer to the home, when they are young. Even with their O levels, actually they could start their program. They can do foundation and then they could do the diploma here. So a couple of years they are closer to the home, and then they can go 2 years to Australia or Malaysia. Swinburne have got their own campus in Malaysia as well. So that's one of the advantage students are going to get, and the parents as well. And the second one is they will be able to actually see what they are going to do in Australia, what they are going to study in Australia. So it's climatized, because when they go into a different country, and it may be a bit difficult for them to adjust the studies, etc., etc. So it's going to be the same university, same program, same way we are going to do everything. So they will get a bit of acclimatized here. So when they go there, they are not new to the universities. They are going to be part of the university, so it's quite easy.
I see. So it is really a two-way process there. But now Swinburne College has already exported some of its talent to Malaysia, as you mentioned earlier. So what are the sort of elements of that particular campus that you're going to also start up here in Sri Lanka?
I think the first important thing to remember is the students who enrol in Sri Lanka will be Swinburne students, with all the access to all the facilities the university actually has. So whether it's accessing the library, whether it's accessing the faculty staff at times when required. So that's an important element of it. We will certainly have our staff involved in the teaching in the campus. We'll be using online technology to bring our lessons and all that to Sri Lanka as well. So I think it's important the students will realise that they're getting the same quality and standard of education as they were in Australia. We will not differentiate beyond that. We're required to do that, and that's what we want to do. We see it as a very, very empowering experience for students to be involved in an Australian education, and we look forward to being able to provide that quality here. The students, as well as being able to transition after their study here with a diploma into their degree in Australia, they also have the option of accepting a diploma from Australia after having studied here. So there's many, many advantages for the students to be able to study through the Swinburne program here in Sri Lanka.
Wow, so we'll go into the disciplines that you're offering actually somewhere in the next segment. We have a few more guests who will be on the show to speak about that. But let's speak about the format of the diploma that you're offering here, and further studies in the degree, of course. What is the format that students will have to follow once they finish their secondary education?
There are two ways they could do that. If they finish with their O levels, they could start the foundation here. So the foundation studies is equivalent to the A levels or the AS level. So they could do that foundation, and then they could move to the diploma level. So if they're coming with the A's or A levels, then they will go straight into the diploma levels. So the diploma, what they're going to get it from Swinburne College, is equivalent to the first year of the university degree. So when they transfer to the Swinburne University, then they will go to their second year straight away. Whatever the discipline they are actually finishing their diploma, provided they are getting the equivalent or required the marks as well as the required things, what it had to be.
So I think some of the important things around that is we'll be bringing all our teaching methods to Sri Lanka. Swinburne is a university well known for its innovation, and that means we use lots of technology in the classroom and engaging students in a learning method that might be very foreign to them, having been through the local systems here, where we integrate a lot of technology in the classroom and make sure that students are learning through self-directed learning, as well as being taught, and cover a range of electives within each of the subject disciplines that they'll be undertaking. I think it's also one of the things that may happen in the classroom is we're intending to get some of our Australian students to come and study at the Noah campus for a term, to do a study abroad, so we can make sure it's all part of our family of students, and make sure it's very, very connected to the campus in Australia, because we think that's an important element of what we're doing.
Wow, so a great platform for cultural exchange as well as education. We're going for a very short break. Thank you so much, Victor and Peter, for being with us on the show. I think some of your colleagues will be with us in the next segment to give you a lot more information about the Navaloka College of Higher Studies. Stay with us. We'll be right back on Good Morning Sri Lanka.